The Blood Curse, Rise of the Vampire Part 1. In the quiet town of Ravenshade, where nights were darker than shadows, people whispered about one thing: the blood curse. No one dared to stay out after midnight, because every time the moon turned red, someone disappeared. It began years ago. A young man named Ethan Crowe, a historian obsessed with dark legends, arrived in Ravenshade to uncover the truth behind the ancient vampire said to haunt the hills. Locals warned him, leave before the moon bleeds again. But Ethan didn't listen. He wanted answers, and what he found was far beyond his imagination. One stormy night, he entered the abandoned Crimson Church, said to be built on the grave of a fallen vampire lord, Lucian Dramar. The air was heavy, and the walls whispered forgotten prayers. Ethan's flashlight flickered, revealing ancient carvings, men kneeling before a creature with burning eyes and wings made of shadows. Then he found it, a coffin, sealed with chains made of silver, and a message carved in stone: those who disturb the cursed will drink his blood and become his kin. Before he could react, a drop of his blood from a small cut on his hand fell on the coffin. The ground trembled, the air froze, and the silver chains began to melt like wax. Ethan stepped back as the coffin lid slowly lifted. A pale hand emerged, long claws scraping the stone, and then eyes opened, glowing crimson in the darkness. Lucian had returned. He moved faster than wind, whispering ancient words that turned the air cold. Ethan tried to run, but Lucian was already behind him, his voice echoing through the church. You woke me from my eternal sleep. Now you will walk with me in the darkness. A scream echoed through the valley that night. By morning, the townspeople found only bloodstains near the church gates, and the mark of two fangs carved into the wooden door. Since that night, the red moon has never left Ravenshade, and those who hear whispers in the wind know that Ethan Crowe still walks among them, not as a man, but as a creature of the night. Ending line for Part 1. This was just the beginning. In the next chapter, the real hunt begins. Channel outro and voice. My dear friends, if you want to uncover what happens next, the blood, the fear, and the rise of the immortal, make sure to subscribe to FactStormLab, because the night has just begun. Script title: The Blood Curse, Rise of the Vampire Part 2. The town of Ravenshade had fallen silent. Every night, a red fog drifted down from the hills, and those who breathed it never woke again. But deep within the ruins of the Crimson Church, Ethan Crowe opened his eyes. Only now, he was not human. His skin pale like moonlight, his heart no longer beating, yet his mind alive with voices whispering from the dark. Lucian Dramar stood before him, the ancient vampire lord, his voice deep and echoing like thunder. Welcome, my son of blood. The curse is your gift now. Ethan tried to scream, but his throat burned like fire. Lucian smiled and whispered, you fed the curse with your own blood. Now you will feed on others. That night Ethan felt his hunger rise, a thirst beyond pain or control. He tried to resist, but when he saw the moonlight touch the blood on the church floor, something inside him broke. He drank, and with that, his soul was gone. Days turned into nights. The townspeople vanished one by one. They called it a plague, but those who saw the shadows knew the truth. The curse had returned. Ethan began to remember flashes, his human life, his family, his past, all fading away. Lucian taught him the ways of the dark, how to walk in shadows, how to control minds, how to command the night itself. But deep inside, Ethan still had a spark of humanity left. He began to hate what he had become, and in the silence of the graveyard, he made a vow. If I can't save myself, I'll destroy the monster who made me. One stormy night, Ethan faced Lucian inside the same church where it all began. Lightning struck the altar as they fought, ancient power against new blood. Lucian roared, you cannot kill what death already owns. But Ethan had learned one thing: the curse began with his blood, and it could end with it. He grabbed a silver dagger, carved with the same runes from the tomb, and plunged it into his own chest. letting his blood spill onto Lucian's heart. The vampire screamed as fire burst through his veins. The ground shook, the church collapsed into flames, and for a moment, everything went silent. When the sun rose over Ravenshade, the red fog was gone, the curse broken. But in the ashes of the church, something still moved, a single raven with glowing red eyes. And from the distance, a whisper echoed, "Legends never die. They wait to rise again." Ending line emotional outro. My dear friends, every legend hides a truth, and every curse leaves a shadow. If you want to uncover the next dark secret of history, don't forget to subscribe to FactStormLab, where fear becomes reality. The Blood Curse, The Final Night Part 3. The ashes of the Crimson Church still smoked under the pale dawn. Everyone believed the curse was gone, but legends never die that easily. That night, a storm rose again over Ravenshade. Lightning tore through the clouds, and from the earth beneath the ruins, a heartbeat echoed. Thump, thump, thump. It wasn't Lucian. It was something older, something that had been waiting long before even vampires existed. In the dark mist, a shadow formed tall, with eyes like burning coals, wings made of black smoke. They called it Vorgoth, the First Blood, the creature who had cursed Lucian centuries ago. When Ethan's blood touched Lucian's heart, it didn't destroy the curse, it woke it. Now the ancient vampire god wanted revenge. Ravenshade fell into chaos. The rivers turned red. The moon vanished behind clouds. Every mirror cracked as the sound of whispers filled the air. The blood must return home. Ethan awoke again, but he was trapped between life and death. His reflection was gone, his veins still burning with the curse. He heard voices calling from the wind, the souls of those who had died. Then he saw her, Alara, the spirit of his lost love. Her voice trembled. "You can't kill darkness, but you can seal it." She led Ethan deep into the catacombs beneath Ravenshade, where ancient runes glowed like fire. Vorgoth appeared, towering monstrous, his fangs dripping black blood. The ground cracked as he spoke. "You are my creation, and now you will end the world with me." Ethan clenched his fists, his voice shaking with rage and sorrow. "No, I end this tonight." He sliced his hand and drew a blood sigil on the ground, a circle that began to burn brighter and brighter. Vorgoth screamed as chains of light wrapped around him. But the spell demanded one thing, a life for a life. Alara whispered, "You have to sacrifice yourself. The curse dies with you." Ethan smiled faintly, a tear of blood running down his cheek. He looked up at the sky and said softly, "Tell them, I chose to be human again." He plunged the dagger into his heart. The ground exploded with light. The curse shattered. Vorgoth's scream echoed into the heavens, and then silence. When the storm cleared, Ravenshade was peaceful again. The fog was gone. The graves were quiet. Only a single raven sat on a tombstone, watching the sunrise. And from the distance, a faint whisper drifted through the wind. "The blood sleeps until the world forgets." All History Video FactStormLab. My dear friends, some stories end in silence, but legends, they only sleep. One day, the blood may rise again. Until then, keep your eyes open and your heart brave. For more dark mysteries and forgotten legends, subscribe to FactStormLab, where fear becomes history.